Hello and welcome down onto the tech desk and something very exciting today for you, and I've got this. This is the Nitro deck. They kindly sent me this ahead of launch. So what I'll do is I'll leave links down below where you can get hold of this, and certainly you can go pre-order this. It's going to be in stores and online, I believe. And this video is going to be split up into two parts. The first part I'm going to do today, and the second part I will do later, and it'll all be split up in timestamps below if you just want to go and see. So I'm just going to be opening this for the first time and just having a quick brief look at it. Then I'm going to go away, play with it, and I'll talk to you, come back on the thoughts on it. I'm very, very excited about this because I've had a lot of products that seem to do the same thing, but this seems to do a lot more, and it just look, the campaign they've had for it just looks quality. Okay, so if you don't know, it's basically a Switch case. So your Switch sits in that, and we'll have a look at it. So console not included, obviously. Nitro deck. So this is the retro purple with the carry case. So this is the limited edition version. This is the more expensive version. It comes purple, comes with a case, and it comes with a couple of extra bits as well. And if we flip over it, there we go. There's the case, the cable, and that's the back of it. So we've got a few extra bits for it. Here it says Hall Effect thumbsticks, built for comfort, ultra low latency, remappable back buttons, swappable thumbsticks, motion and vibration support, and we have an app as well. I'm not sure what that does, but I'll go through that and talk about that later. Okay, so peeling off the top, we have a nice box here, and again, as I said, CRKD, well, I've got the limited edition version here. Okay, so the purple colour. Here it is in its case. And we also have, looks like a shoulder strap as well. Okay, so good, decent quality shoulder strap, as you kind of expect. You know the kind of shoulder strap material I'm talking about, don't you? That's that with plastic ends, which, okay, they go on there, one on there, and one on there. And then we have a nice robust handle, carry handle, which I'll talk about more in the video. Good protection quality in here. Not too bad a size. Again, I'll talk about that in the review video as well when I get it measured and stuff. But there's their logo, and then opening it up, here we have it. First impressions are very light. I will wear it later, but that feels very light. That's lovely. Okay, so there is that, and then we have the case with the flap for the games, and then here, what do we have? We have a couple of thumbsticks, a microfiber cloth, Nitrodeck written on, and then we have a really nice quality braided USB-C cable with a logo on it there. That feels excellent. I'm not sure how much you get if you're not going to get the limited edition version. I'm not sure how much of this you get. I know you definitely don't get the case. I'm not sure whether you get any of the other bits as well, so it's worth looking at the listings for them. Okay, so a sticker here, just with a few extra bits on it, but essentially your Switch is going to fit in there, and as I was saying, it feels lovely. And then nice kickstand. It says input and output on there. S1, S2, S3, and S4. And then this latch, which I assume would be like a... Yeah, okay, so it's a release mechanism. You can see in there. All that. I guess the Switch fits in there and sits in there. Okay, so there we go then. That was a really quick unboxing of the Nitro deck. This is saying this is the limited version. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away and I'm going to go and play with this, and then I'm going to give you a much more in-depth look at this and how it feels and how it plays. Okay, so see you in a second. Hello and welcome back. Now, I've been playing with this all weekend and I've had a chance now to break this down, and I'm going to tell you the 5 reasons why this is a brilliant bit of kit. So just to give you some context, I get sent a lot of these type of grip cases. In fact, so much so, since I recorded that bit you've just seen, I've already been sent another one. Okay, so whether that's any good or not, I don't know, but it might not make the channel. It might not, because it might not be any good. If it's good, it makes the channel. This is good. Okay, so it's definitely worth picking one of these up, and I'll leave links down below where you can get hold of these, because what we're going to do is start with the 5 reasons why I think it's worth picking one of these up. And reason number 1 is kind of like the build quality, or how it's put together, and the thought that's gone into this. So for starters, I've got the limited edition purple colour, so we've gone for the GameCube vibes, which I think looks absolutely superb. There are quite a few, some regular edition, some limited edition. I will be telling you later in the video why you need to be getting the limited edition, so go and have a look at the point number 5. But if you go look on game.co.uk, they kind of do 4 different versions. They do 2 limited edition and 2, one black, one white. And the limited edition comes with some extra pieces, which I will talk about. But this colour, I think, looks fantastic. And then when you first get out, we have weighed it, as we've done before. But I wanted to talk to you, give you some sort of context about it. So let's grab the scales again. And as we've said before, it was about 260 and 270 grams. Great. I've got a Pro controller here with, admittedly it's got some extra back buttons, so it's a little bit heavier. But it says 260, so it's only just a bit heavier than a Pro controller. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how light and comfy this is. And as you can see, it is much thicker than kind of your regular Joy-Con, which helps hugely with comfort, especially with my average size adult hands. So when you've got it resting in the palms here and you're playing it, I've got no issues reaching the buttons and the thumbsticks. And if I hold up the buttons here, if I line up the buttons with the buttons, you can see that the thumbstick on the nitrodeck actually comes down a bit further. So there's a bigger gap here and a bigger gap here as well. Line up the thumbsticks, you'll see that the D-pad is further down. So it's a little bit bigger than Joy-Cons, but it won't do with the help with the comfort of it. And it's a bit bulbous around here, and you'll see that there's a kind of like a grippy pattern around here. And if you look closely, it's actually the cracked logo. I'll try and get that in. Like they did with the PlayStation DualSense, there's the cracked logo all around here, is the grippy texture. Such a neat little touch. So, and also as well is the buttons as well. And I'm going to do a button test now. And there was a video I did last year on some Joy-Cons, and someone absolutely berated me for not doing a sound test. And because they were so nice about it, I'll do a sound test for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away. I'm going to go and get my special microphone, and we'll just get in and we'll get some sound tests of all of the buttons for you. Now we're going to talk about the triggers. This is one of the things I'm not really a huge fan of. They're analog triggers, so they fully extend like so. I guess that's because you can use this on the PC, which we'll talk about in the functions later. But for me, they're a bit spongy. You can go, they're a bit. I mean, in game, it's not an issue, but for the feel of it, they're a bit. There's no definite feedback for them. It's kind of just a bit spongy for me. These are superb. And all the buttons, the regular buttons, they feel great. The D-pad, I know I'm no expert. I don't really use the D-pad as much, apart from in certain games, but some people really rely on a D-pad. For me, it feels okay. And the thing I like about it is it doesn't go flush with the case. It only goes down to a certain bit, which feels really nice for me. But as I was saying, playing with games, I don't think you'll have an issue with the D-pad. It was no problem at all. And with this bit on the back here, this is the kind of releasing catch. So when it's in, so let's quickly pull it out. When it's in, it snaps in, so listen. Okay, it snaps in nicely, it ain't coming out. You push that up, and then the switch is free to come out. Now, it doesn't ping up the switch, it just releases it. So when you release it, if you don't want to touch the screen, you've got to kind of knock it out like that. Like that. If you don't want to touch the screen, then you basically can't. Okay, I think this is probably why they added a microfiber cloth in there as well, because when you release it, you've got to touch the screen, and you're going to get your greasy fingerprints all over the screen every single time. Okay, I haven't found a way yet of effectively taking it out without touching the screen. Okay, so that's why they've got a cloth in there to clean it every time. And one other issue as well is on here, you see that it's getting scuffed quite a bit there from pulling it in and out. It hasn't actually affected much. Don't worry about this is all old stuff, but it hasn't affected my switch. I've been keeping an eye on it quite a lot just to make sure that it doesn't mark the switch, and it hasn't been. This is all from other stuff as well, from when I've been testing with the game. So it seems to be only visibly marking this on here. And as well, another really cool idea that they've thought of with the build is this kickstand as well. It sits on there. It's a nice high angle for you, and really it doesn't really matter where you put on it. It doesn't change the angle too much. It sits a little bit further back, but not too much. You can put it all the way back generally, so you can be playing it on the tabletop mode. And as well, when they thought about the build as well, they've put an input and then they've put an output there. So the input is obviously if you're going to be charging it, so you can plug that in there and you'll see that it starts charging. Okay, so it's charging, and with the you can have it resting there, so it's charging. And for the output, so you can use the USB that comes with it. You can plug this into your Switch dock and use this as a controller. If your Switch, the Switch is in the dock itself, you can just use this as a controller. Or I believe as well, you can use it as a PC controller. If you're doing the output there, you can just plug this into your PC and use it as a controller. Entirely up to you. And also, so it has all the nice cutouts in all the right nice places. So it has cutouts for the speakers there on the bottom there. You can see the cutouts, and as you can see, it has place for all the vents on the back there. So it is, and obviously for the top, and to be able to get your game card out if you need to. Yeah, so there's a little cutout for that. So it has all the cutouts. So they've really thought well about the build quality. And then while we're on the back, apart from all the build and the things that they've thought out with the buttons and stuff, I've had to make a separate category for these buttons here. The two rear paddles, I think, are superb. They're in a brilliant position for it to be comfort for this finger, so the middle finger just to rest on there. And when you're resting it on there, you're not accidentally pressing it. You have to be definite with it. And these are completely assignable. And what I normally have is I normally have these on the two bumpers. So I have my fingers on the triggers and these on the bumpers, and these two on game specific, whatever these ones are. And what I thought I'd be doing was I'd be doing with my middle finger and then the ring finger like that. I wasn't. What I was doing, I was actually swapping my middle finger down there like that. So I was using the middle finger for both of the paddles either side. And that's the way I found it to be most comfortable. But it's entirely up to you. But the paddles are definitely worth looking at for this, because I can't do without paddles. And the fact that there's two on either side is brilliant, and they feel great, and you would have heard how they sounded on the sound test earlier. Okay, so number 3, and one of the headline features on this is the sticks, which are Hall effect sticks, which we've been told should eliminate drift, which is fantastic. A couple of little extra bits on here as these come off. So these are concave, you get a couple of convex as well. So you do is you just swap them, and if they are wear, you can just buy some more. And I believe that Cracked are going to be selling some more for you if you ever need to at some point. But as we do with most kind of like Joy-Cons and stuff, we're going to do a stick test. Oh, while we're here, Pro Controller wide connection needs to be on for this to work. So let's move down, calibrate control sticks, and if we do the right hand one first. Okay, I've had no issues with this in game, nice and snappy. Just want to show you this. Okay, so let's have a look. Start moving it. There we go. So it started moving, and we get about 1 millimeter or so before it starts moving. And then when we pull it all the way to the edge, there, we have about 2 millimeters, I'd say, 1.5, 2 millimeters worth of movement on the outside as well. So let's move this down. There. So about there. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so about a couple of millimeters on the outside as well. And then there's no stuttering on the clock as well, which is good. Okay, and then whip over to the other one. I'm not going to spend too long on this one because it is identical. All the testing I've done off camera is identical, so it's exactly the same. I just wanted to show you. Okay, Okay, no issues there whatsoever. So really, really nice thumbsticks. Really glad they've put these new Hall effect in, because I think that's a selling point. And apparently we're never going to ever get drift again. Time will tell, but the signs are looking good. Okay, so next up, we've talked about the build, kind of like the physical stuff and all the buttons and the sticks. Now we're going to be talking about the functions. Very briefly, this is stacked with functions. So if you want a function on this, it's got it, apart from NFC. It doesn't have Amiibo support, okay? If that's a deal breaker for you, I don't know, but I don't particularly have that because I have a spare controller which I use for the Amiibos. Entirely up to you. But it has rumble. It's not HD rumble, but it's good enough. If you've ever used third-party Joy-Cons or third-party controllers, you'll know what the kind of rumble's like. It's very similar to that. It also has macros as well, so you can set macros to the buttons. So you press once, and it will do a series of button presses, which is fantastic. And it also does turbo mode, so you can have the turbo on any of the buttons. And when you're holding it down, it will rapidly press it, and it has kind of like different speed levels as well. If you want to know how all of those work, go and have a look in the video from Cracked themselves. It explains how all the functions work. I won't bore you with how they work. But it has kind of like an NFC of sorts. It has this tag here, which you can scan for the phone app. So it has what they call the Cracked app. And all you do is you're going to be registering it, and then you're going to be scanning that, and it picks it up that this is your device. And there's no other reason to do this other than just to register it as your device. If you're going to be selling this, you need to deregister this from your app, okay? So the only reason you're going to be wanting to do this in your app is really to see what number edition you have out of 10,482, and the fact that there's no other information really. You can do the shop, that opens up in Safari, or Crack TV, just has a load of videos, or your account, and that's pretty much it for the app. But still worth doing, just to see what kind of number you've got off the production line, and to register it as yours if you're ever going to need support in the future. Okay, so it feels good, it looks good, there's plenty to do. The only other thing I've got on number 5 on my list, and I'm sorry for those who got the standard version, but this is basically a reason why to get the limited edition version, and that's this. This case is brilliant. Every time I do a video on like Joy-Cons and stuff, everyone's asking me, what case do I fit? Is there a case for these? And I think if you're going to be using these for a certain amount of time, you're going to need a case, and obviously you're going to be trying this one because it just fits perfectly, and it is brilliant. It's got superb quality. It's got great hidden zips, a shoulder strap if you want to. I don't particularly use that, but the hand strap here is really good quality. I've been throwing this about quite a lot over the past few days, and then when you open it up, the inside feels lovely and plush. This flap here with 2, 4, 6, 8 games, and then this pouch here. So this is the cable that it comes with. Really nice long Cracked branded USB-C cable, or if you don't want to put that cable in, put something in there. You're not going to get I don't think you'll probably get a charger in there, but you might be able to get quite a few cables in there, and maybe a really thin USB-C plug like the ones that Apple do, one of the thin ones in there maybe. And like I was saying, it just fits it, because you can see that all of these bits here are just molded for this. And if you want the nitrodeck and you're going to be taking it out with you, you're going to need a case, and this one is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. So let's pop it in. You can press the sticks, but boy oh boy, you've got to press hard, really hard. So when you're firing this into your bag, it's not going to turn your switch on at all, so you're not going to lose any battery at all. Okay then, so that was my look then. As I said, there's a lot to love about this. The case, the build, the functions, the things they've thought about, the input, the output, the paddles, the sticks, lots to like. As I was saying, there's only a few things I don't like about it, is the fact that I've got to touch the screen to take it out. I haven't found a way of doing that yet. And the fact that I think it might be, it's marking the back of here a little bit, and the triggers are a little bit spongy for me. But apart from that, well worth a look at. I'll leave links down below of where you can get hold of this. Go and have a look. I think purple is probably my favourite colour out of all of them, but go and have a look. I'll show you links online of where to get them. Okay, if you've got any questions, do let me know. I hope I've shown you enough I can on this. Anything, let me know. Do like, do subscribe to the next video. Bye-bye.